Hey guys, welcome to my first, believe it or not, movie vlog video. Um, I've been toying with this idea for a very long time, and finally, I just decided why not create my own movie review slash news slash whatever video blog for my YouTube channel. So I've been reviewing movies for a very long time on my blog, Talking the Talkies, and I've also continued that tradition on my Letterboxd profile. You can find the information for those two things down on the clapboard below. And I figured what better way to start my first journey into movie videos than an Oscar prediction blog. The Oscars are just a few days away at this point on Sunday of next week. So I figured I would let you guys know what my personal idea of what might win in each category, and we'll see if I'm right on Sunday. So here we go. I'll try to go as quickly as I can so as not to waste your precious time here. But here are the nominees for Best Picture. First up, we have The Father, which is uh, amazing movie about a man with Alzheimer's, and it really puts you in his perspective, and you're just as confused as he is. We have Judas and the Black Messiah, which is all about the Black Panther Party, and the main character is this petty criminal who is sent to infiltrate the Black Panther Party to get notes on them. They're this somewhat dangerous threat to the government. But once he goes in there to sort of get information, then he starts, following what the leader is actually saying. And now he's sort of torn between identities. And it's very good. And I highly recommend it. Mank, I did not really enjoy, even though it has the most nominations at 11 nominations, all about the making of what's considered one of the greatest films of all time, Citizen Kane. I thought it was just kind of boring. It was Hollywood history without much personality. Minari, that's what I would vote for if I was voting for Best Picture. It's a really sweet family drama about Korean American immigrants. Nomadland, a movie about a woman in a van traveling the country without a home, and she poops in a bucket at one point. Um, so if that sells it for you, then you might as well see it. Promising Young Woman. It's about a woman who gets revenge on men who try to take advantage of her. Sound of Metal is about a metal musician with gradual hearing loss, which is never a good thing for musicians. And then finally, Trial of the Chicago Seven, which is an Aaron Sorkin courtroom drama set in the 60s that also involves a little bit of the Black Panther Party. So that is a brief recap of all these movies. I loved all of them except for Mank, honestly. But what do I think is going to win? My bet, if you're going to take bets on money, I would put it on Nomadland for the win. It's been winning all of the predictive awards. It's definitely the favorite to win, although my heart goes out to Minari. It could possibly make an upset in the same way that Moonlight did, winning against La La Land a few years ago. So I would say Nomadland and Minari are the ones to watch out for, with Trial of the Chicago Seven maybe being more of the classic Oscar winner, but I think it's between Nomadland and Minari. All right, next up is directing. We have a rare European filmmaker making this category for another round of the rare foreign film getting a nomination here. Uh, then we have David Fincher for Mank, just getting in there because I guess he's very famous. Lee Isaac Chung for Minari, making a very personal film. Chloe Zhao, who's sort of the it girl right now, she just got selected for one of the new Marvel movies coming up, The Eternals. And then finally, Emerald Fennell, who directed Promising Young Woman. So who do I think is going to win here? This one's definitely going to be Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. She has a lot of indie movie cred under her belt. And Nomadland was definitely a huge achievement in directing. She got amazing performances out of a lot of non-actor people. It's almost makes it seem like a documentary the way she is directing the film, even though a lot of it was scripted. it feels very realistic, and the way she got performances out of non actors was pretty amazing. So probably going to be her. It doesn't hurt that she is a woman in a category that's largely honored men in the past, and it just seems like this is the year to honor a woman. So I would definitely bet on Chloe Zhao. She's definitely the favorite to win. All right, actress in a lead role. This is definitely the most difficult to predict out of all the acting categories this year. You have Viola Davis in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom playing Ma Rainey, who is sort of this forgotten blues singer, not forgotten anymore because of this movie. We have Andra Day also playing a legendary musician in the United States versus Billie Holiday. Vanessa Kirby from Pieces of a Woman playing, I guess it's spoilers to say, but a woman, a mother in duress. I'll say that. Frances McDormand from Nomadland. She's like one of the few like known actors in the movie. And then Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. Who do I think is going to win? I think it's going to be Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. Um, at the end of the day, I think McDormand and Davis, although very strong possibilities, they already have awards, so I don't think that the Academy is going to double dip and give them another one. Even though Davis just recently won at the SAG Awards, I don't think necessarily that she's going to win here. Andra Day, she did her own singing in the movie, which is very impressive. As Billie Holiday, she puts on a really good performance, but she's the only nominee from that movie. And so I don't think that the movie itself was loved enough to propel her to a win. And same thing with Vanessa Kirby. I would vote for Kirby if I was the voter. I thought she was amazing in that film, and it's one of my favorite movies so far this year. But she's the only nominee for her movie. I just don't think it's enough to push her to a win. And so that leaves Carey Mulligan. She has not won yet, and she's been in a lot of like Oscar movies and Oscar adjacent films, and it just feels like it's her time. And she gives an amazing performance in this sort of revenge drama, comedy, dark comedy, Promising Young Woman. So I think it is her time to win. All right, actor in a lead role. This one is maybe deceiving in that it might seem easy at first. But we have Riz Ahmed from Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace, from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins from The Father, Gary Oldman in Mank. I don't know why he's there. He was just okay in that movie. And Stephen Yeun from Minari. Now, I'm going to predict the one you would guess, which is Chadwick Boseman. He because he died recently, and he died so tragically and unexpectedly of cancer recently. And he left behind all of these iconic roles like Black Panther, and he played all these icons of throughout Black history, like Jackie Robinson and James Brown and all these things. I think because the Academy knows that this is the last time that Boseman will have a chance to be nominated for anything because he died, I think that will push him over the edge for a win. However, if Boseman had not died this year, if he was still alive, I do believe it would have gone to Anthony Hopkins for The Father. I do think that that is the one of the best performances of this list, and it is incredible. The performance, I think, it tops even his performance as Hannibal Lecter, or at least equal to that. Um, and he won for that years ago, and I think it's one of his career highlights, definitely. So I don't know. I would watch out for Anthony Hopkins, who won at the BAFTA Awards, which is like the British Academy Awards. But I'm still going with Chadwick because, um, you know, he died, and we're sad about that. So I think that's why he'll win. All right, actress in a supporting role. We have Maria Bakalova playing, you know, Borat's daughter in the Borat sequel, and she has the infamous moment with Rudy Giuliani. In that movie, we have Glenn Close from Hillbilly Elegy, who's been nominated many times and never has won. And spoilers, I don't think she's going to win again. We have Olivia Colman, Glenn Close's former rival, beating her previously in The Favorite, and she plays the daughter in The Father. Amanda Seyfried, however you pronounce her name, in Mank, and then Yu Jung Yoon, I believe you pronounce it, in Minari. And so who do I think will win? I think Yu Jung Yoon from Minari is going to win. She is amazing in this movie, and she basically plays this really funny, quirky grandmother character, and it's very similar to Alan Arkin's role in Little Miss Sunshine, and he won for that role years ago. And I think Yu Jung Yoon will win for Minari. And it's if she wins, it will definitely be a groundbreaking win, especially in wake of last year's Oscars, where Minari went on to win tons of awards, including Best Picture and Best Director, but none of the Korean actors were nominated. So a win for Yu Jung Yoon would be amazing, because I don't know, I feel like Asian actors just aren't nominated as much for whatever reason. And in this year where there's this crazy amount of anti Asian hate, I think it would be cool to see her win. And Glenn Close, it's kind of funny, is nominated for both an Academy Award and a Razzie for the same performance. So we can count her out, I think, for Hillbilly Elegy. Uh, all right, so actor in a supporting role, we have Sacha Baron Cohen for Trial of the Chicago Seven, Daniel Kaluuya from Judas and the Black Messiah, and we also have Lakeith Stanfield from Judas and the Black Messiah. Even though he is the lead actor in the movie, he is not supporting, he is literally the lead character. Makes no sense. But we also have Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami and Paul Raci for Sound of Metal. I think it will go to Daniel Kaluuya from Judas and the Black Messiah. He's been winning everything. And between him and Stanfield, he has the much showier role in Judas and the Black Messiah. He is playing the leader of the Black Panthers, and he has the great speeches and all that. Although I do think Stanfield gives an amazing performance, it's a lot more subtle, and you can sort of wordlessly see him wrestling with his own viewpoints, and it's kind of the more complicated character to pull off as an actor. These acting Oscars usually go to whatever the biggest performance is. So this is a surefire bet. You bet on Kaluuya. There's just no way. Plus, he's been having an awesome career at a relatively young age with Get Out, and Queen and Slim was also a great movie recently. He's just been killing it, so I would bet money on him. It seems like it's his time. All right. Original screenplay. We have Judas. We have Minari, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and Trial of the Chicago Seven. Usually, the screenplay awards are given to the quirky, offbeat movies that don't have a chance of winning the Oscar, but have a lot of has a unique vision, a unique blend of tones. And to me, Promising Young Woman seems like it fits that mold, like a Jojo Rabbit or like Get Out. Those are the movies that tend to win screenplay awards, like the sort of balancing comedy and dark things. So I think Promising Young Woman is going to win for that one as well. All right, adapted screenplay. This one is really throwing me for a loop, and I changed this prediction at the last second, so hopefully I don't regret that. But we have Borat 2, The Father, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, and a surprise nomination for The White Tiger. I am giving it to The Father. It's based on a stage play, and it has some really interesting narrative choices in the film, sort of balancing, you know, between reality and fantasy, or not fantasy, but the confusion in this man's mind. And somehow it doesn't lose the audience at all. It's this delicate balancing act in the script that is really hard to pull off. And plus, it gives Anthony Hopkins one of the best roles he's ever had. So it definitely deserves to win. A lot of people are predicting Nomadland because it does have the best picture chances, and usually screenplay goes along with whatever wins best picture. But I'm going to bet on The Father. One Night in Miami also is based on a play, and it's pretty much wall to wall dialogue from uh, these four iconic figures of Black history. But it wasn't as loved as The Father based on all the nominations. So I'm going with The Father. Hopefully, I don't regret not just going for the Nomadland sweep, but who knows? All right, animated feature. I don't even have to talk about any of these. Soul is just going to win. It's nominated for multiple things. It's just sweeping everywhere. This was just one of those years where it's just going to be Soul. There's just no other way about it. Even though these are some great animated films, Soul, it's going to win. You don't even have to talk about it. All right, documentary feature. We have Collective, which is a very disturbing look at the Romanian healthcare system and how it totally failed people who were caught in a fire. Crip Camp, a disability revolution. The Mole Agent, which is all about old people in a retirement home and how depressing that is. My Octopus Teacher, which is about a dude who befriends an octopus, and there's some really cool shots of underwater photography in that. And then Time, which is, from what I remember, about this couple, and it shows how hard life is after they are released from prison. And so you have a real mixed bag here. This one's hard to predict, but I'm going with My Octopus Teacher. Although Crip Camp is one that I would watch out for. It's produced by the Obamas, who produced a previous winner. Oh, what was the name of that movie? But it was whatever the previous winner was about. I think it was called American Factory. I'm pretty sure. I don't have notes. I'm just going off the top of my head here. But Crip Camp, it's a great movie, and it's all about the rights, disability rights, and how that sort of got started, all from this sort of summer camp of disabled people. And it's a really fantastic movie. But I think it's going to My Octopus Teacher because, similar to Free Solo, which previously won, it has some really incredible nature footage that's like somewhat dangerous. So it's engaging in that way. And it's unlike any of the other nominees. It's not as heavy handed. And I just think it has maybe that X factor to win. So I'm going with that. Not confidently, but I'm going with that. Next up is international feature. This one's pretty obvious. It's going to be another round. Purely, I mean, the director was nominated, which is so rare. So it's very obvious it's going to be another round. The other films are all kind of this weird mixed bag of movies. I wasn't a huge fan of of them in particular. Like, I'm not really rooting for anything. But another round is about is actually about a teacher who makes a bet that with his buddies that he can basically get drunk during the day and like try to get away with it. I don't know. I had mixed feelings on the movie, but a lot of people are really liking it, and it's clearly the Academy liked it, so it's gonna win. All right, original music score. Uh, Again, Soul, it's going to win. This one is interesting in that it's almost two scores in one, because the movie takes place in both this world of the soul and then the real world. And so the real world was, the score was done with John Batiste, who he's the band leader for the Stephen Colbert Show. And then when the character is in this sort of afterlife soul world, the score is done by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross from Nine Inch Nails. And so you have two completely different tones that somehow mesh together, and they're both amazing in their own right. So it feels like that one's in the bag. And interestingly enough, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are also nominated for Mank this year. So they have quite a few chances to win, but I think Soul will take it home. All right, original song. We have Fight for You, Hear My Voice, Husavik, IOC, Scene, and Speak Now. And I am giving it to Speak Now because Leslie Odom Jr. was nominated for Best Actor as well. And I don't think he's going to win that award, but if they're going to, give him a consolation prize, I think his song for One Night in Miami will probably end up winning. He plays the legendary singer Sam Cooke in the movie, and he sings his own song, and he's a cast member of Hamilton. So people love this guy, and so I think he's going to win. My vote would go to Husavik from Eurovision Song Contest, even though the movie is a goofy Will Ferrell comedy. That song is very powerful, weirdly, in the movie, so I would vote for that. But I think Speak Now is going to win. All right, best sound. This is a weird category this year because usually sound was split into sound editing and sound mixing, but this is the first year it's just best sound in general. And the nominees are Greyhound, which I did not like at all. I don't know. It was just a bland submarine World War II movie with Tom Hanks in it. Mank, News of the World, another Tom Hanks movie, but this time it's a Western. And Soul and Sound of Metal. And if the title didn't already make it obvious, I'm going with Sound of Metal. Uh, and this totally deserves to win. To me, this movie has some of the best use of sound in film I've ever heard in my life. The way they accurately show how, or not show, but how the sound design reflects this musician's gradual hearing loss is really amazing, and it really puts you into this character more than any other movie I've ever seen. The sound design just makes you feel for this guy and what he's going through. It's an amazing use of sound, and it totally deserves to win, and it totally will win. All right, makeup and hair. This one I'm having difficulty with. We have Emma, the Jane Austen adaptation, Hillbilly Elegy, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, and a surprise nomination for the crazy movie Pinocchio. This is not the Disney version of Pinocchio. This is this Italian version of Pinocchio that has to be seen to believed. Um, it is just one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life. And I just watch a trailer for it or watch some scenes from it. It is very bizarre. But anyway, I don't think it's going to win. I think it's going to be Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. One tip for guessing this category is looking for stars that are made unrecognizable through the hair and makeup. So that leaves really Hillbilly Elegy and Ma Rainey. Hillbilly Elegy, though, it's a controversial movie. Not a lot of people liked it. It's sort of. It's just too controversial to win, I think. So between the two, I think Ma Rainey is going to win. Viola Davis's face is like totally transformed with all of this, heavy makeup, and she has gold teeth. And I just think that that is probably going to win. But Hillbilly Elegy is another possibility, I think, because Glenn Close is made into a hillbilly. Amy Adams is made into a hillbilly, convincingly to me anyway. But I think it's going to Ma Rainey. So there you go. All right, costume design. Most of the same nominees from last time. Only Mulan is added to the mix here. The Disney live action version. And I think Ma Rainey's going to take it again. This category, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I have no idea. I just think it's going to be Ma Rainey. It's a period piece, and it has other nominations and a lot of other categories. Um, I have no idea what I'm doing about with costume design. All right, cinematography. We have Judas, Mank, News of the World, Nomadland, and Trial of the Chicago Seven. I think this one will also be Nomadland. There's lots of really great shots from around the American West area as the main character travels around. Lots of cool sunsets, and there's one really long, impressive tracking shot seen there in the image. So I think this one will get it. Mank is in black and white, so you might think it might just automatically get the win here. And it's made to look like it's made to look like Citizen Kane, even though it's shot recently. But I think it's going to Nomadland. It will just ride the streak of that movie, I think. All right, production design. We have The Father, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, News of the World, and Tenet. And I am going to give it to Mank. I think this is the only award Mank is going to take during the Oscars, even though it's nominated a whole bunch of times. Usually, movies that recreate Hollywood tend to win this category, just like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino movie, won, I think last year, was it, that came out? Um, and I can't think off the top of my head, but I know that there have been quite a few movies that have won for bringing Hollywood back to life again. And Mank is the only one on this list that really does that. So I think it's going to win. And it really is impressive how they brought back to life, like the Hearst Castle and all of that stuff. So I am giving that one to Mank. All right, editing. This is always a tricky category. You can never really tell what they're going to go for. I am going for Trial of the Chicago Seven. Um, it balances a lot. There's a lot of characters in this movie that you have to follow, and it cuts between all kinds of different events happening at different times. So there's like cross cutting, and there's just a lot to keep track of, and the editing keeps you entertained throughout the whole movie. A movie like Nomadland is very slowly paced, and even Sound of Metal is kind of slowly paced. So I think Trial of the Chicago Seven, it's fast-paced movie, and usually film editing will go to like an all-American movie. Um, I'm thinking like I think Lone Survivor might have won best editing one year, or usually war films like Hacksaw Ridge I think won editing. So Trial of the Chicago Seven, it's sort of the all American movie this year. I don't think it's going to be winning for anything else, so this could be an opportunity to award this movie. And it does have impressive editing to be able to balance all of these different characters. I mean, there's seven people in the Chicago Seven, and you understand perfectly who each of them are. All right, visual effects. So this is where it's the weirdest year because most of the movies that were delayed this year were visual effects heavy movies, like the summer blockbusters. So that left room open for movies like Love and Monsters, which I loved, and The One and Only Ivan, which I didn't really like so much. But these littler movies that might not have gotten the spotlight are getting the spotlight, which is pretty cool. That being said, I still think that Christopher Nolan's movie Tenet is going to win this category, just like he won for his movies Inception and Interstellar. This is just another impressive visualization of a crazy science fiction concept of sort of time, his version of time travel. And yeah, it's probably the only like super serious movie on this list, so I think it's going to win. The Midnight Sky could pull off an upset, but I don't know if that is as well liked as Tenet overall. All right, so here come the shorts categories. These ones are always the trickiest for people because very few people actually watch them. But I have watched every nominee, so take that, how you will. So this is a real mixed bag of nominees. They're always super depressing every year, and this year I'm going with the most depressing movie on the list, which usually doesn't result in a win. I would suggest if you are betting for real money, you go with Concerto as a Conversation, but I'm risking it for the full glory of the Oscar predictions with a risky pick. I'm going to guess Hunger Ward is going to win. So this short film is so depressing. It seriously bummed me out. It is literally about kids starving in the war-torn country of Yemen, and the camera is just capturing kids basically dying and their parents weeping for them as they are unable to be saved in some cases. And it is really hard to watch. And but the thing is, at the end of it, it is pretty much a call to arms saying like we need to stop this. And as opposed to the other ones, there's a lot of like historical aspects to them, like Latasha, Colette, and Concerto, all kind of talk about problematic events that happened in the past. Hunger Ward is like saying, we need to fix this now. And I think if you're voting for one of these things and you want attention to be put on something, this is a problem that's happening right now. And if you look at a lot of previous winners, they talk about problems in the Middle East, like the recent one about young girls skateboarding from Afghanistan, or the story about the white helmets from Syria. They're all like sort of things happening right now that needs your attention. And I think Hunger Ward could win, even though all of the Oscar betting sites are not putting this on the top of their lists. It's what I'm putting on my list, so if I win, I get bragging rights for eternity, I think. All right, live action shorts. This category is so amazing. Every single one of these shorts is amazing, except for the Letter Room, which I thought was just good. But the other four are must watches. I highly recommend renting the live action shorts if you have access to like streaming things. Um, so all that being said, I do think Two Distant Strangers is going to win. It's sort of like a take on Groundhog Day, but as shown through like police brutality. And I'll leave it at that. It's definitely of now, and it deals with problems that we're dealing with now. Um, and it's just a very powerful film. I thought it was incredible. But watch out for Feeling Through. That's another one that's really good and about the friendship between a blind deaf man and a homeless kid. And it's it sounds really depressing, but it's actually a really heartwarming film. And usually heartwarming films win this category, like the short film Sing from a few years ago about the girls and this elite chorus, and they learn to stand up for themselves. But Two Distant Strangers, I just feel like it's too relevant to right now, and it's so well done that I can just picture it winning more than Feeling Through, even though Feeling Through has maybe more of the template of previous winners. So that one maybe is another tricky category. And then finally, the last category is animated short. This one is a mixed bag, but I think the winner is pretty clear here. It is probably going to If Anything Happens, I Love You, which is the Netflix animated short. And it has to do with a school shooting and parents sort of dealing with the grief of their child, which is as depressing as it sounds, but it is an amazingly visualized film. And again, usually this category goes to slightly the more heartwarming film rather than the like school shooting movie. But I just think it will win. I don't know. I just think it will win. Burrow is the cutesy movie this year. That's the Disney animated one. I don't think it's going to win though. It just doesn't have enough meat on it. It's just sort of a sweet story, but not a lot to it. Genius Loci. I have no idea what that was about. I watched it. It makes no sense, but it looks super cool. Opera is my personal favorite, but it's really simple. It just sort of shows one single shot of this triangle. It's almost like an anthill of society, and there's all kinds of tiny little details. It's like a Where's Waldo painting, only instead of like Where's Waldo, it's more like this is what it's sort of this dystopian sci-fi society, but it makes a comment on society at the same time. I don't know. It's really cool. Hard to explain. Watch it if you have access to it. And then Yes People is just this weird Swedish movie about sort of quirky characters. Again, not a lot of meat on it. I think If Anything Happens, I Love You is going to win. So that about wraps up my predictions. Let me know if you think I'm dead wrong on any of these in the comments, and or if you think I should continue making video blogs like this about other movies or anything like that. You can follow me on Letterboxd and my blog, as you can see the information down below, and I will let's see if I'm right or wrong on any of these by Oscar night, which is on Sunday. So hope everybody has an awesome day. I'll see you later.